Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the shop. My name's Adam. SNS 42. I think I got a jam-packed video here in the making for you. Do have quite a bit of stuff to show you. So, just want to start off by saying that it's been a pretty interesting week. I've had some unexpected bills that I've had to pay this week. Man, we ended up having a busted water pipe underneath the house that I had to get taken care of, and on top of that we had some problems with the Durango, so I had to put that in the shop and get that taken care of. So my wallet got hit pretty hard this week with repair bills, but everything's taken care of and now I don't have to worry about it. And you know, some of you guys follow me on Facebook, and I'm on there, you know, my name, Adam Booth. You can find me on Facebook, and that's where I get to talk about things sort of almost behind the scenes of what goes on here. You know, stuff throughout the day, jobs that I do. I'll take pictures and just share different jobs going on. I'll post up over on Facebook, and then sometimes we get into little discussions about certain things. So that's kind of like another place for me to vent. Whenever I found out how much that plumber cost per hour, I was like, what? But you know, it had to get done, and it kept me from having to get underneath that house and probably get stuck in the little access hole trying to get underneath there. So anyway, I'm happy that it's fixed, and the guys took care of it, and also that we got the truck going again. Just some, you know, regular maintenance type things. Parts wear out, you know, and you got to replace them after a while. So anyway, that was kind of like my week's events, and I vented about it a little bit over on Facebook, and a lot of the guys were kind of jumping in there having discussions about labor rates and things like that. So I just want to top on that also, is that I appreciate everybody's trade and everybody's skill. Not just machinists and metal workers and welders, but your carpenters, your plumbers, your electricians, woodworkers, you know, all those kind of guys. You know, it's everybody has a skill, and it's something that I really appreciate and love hearing about, is people that want to learn a skill. It's the same as me. You know, I learned the machine shop trade working in a job shop. So you know, I respect other guys' trades, and whenever other people have, you know, input on that type of work. So I had some guys ask me, why don't you just do it yourself? You know, well, for me, it's not, I don't want to do that stuff. I want to be in my shop doing my work. I don't want to be crawling under my house replacing pipes. I don't want to be looking under the hood of the Durango trying to find what's wrong with it. You know, I want to pay a mechanic to do his job just like they pay me to do my job. So that's why I don't mind paying a man that knows what he's doing to do the work for me also, and I respect that. Just treat me with respect, and I treat you with respect. Okay. So anyway, about this week's video. So I've got a few things to go over here, and I've got me a little cheat sheet. First thing we're going to do, I got some flea market finds. I went to the flea market last Sunday and found some goodies, brought them home, shot some video, and a couple interesting things there. We've also got, I've got a quick tip to show you. I've done a couple of those in the past. I ran across one today. You know, that the quick tip thing isn't something that I just, I have a list full of them. It's just when it happens, you know, it's just something that I do, and I'm like, you know what, that could be kind of helpful for somebody else. So I had a little thing today that I did, and I shot a quick little video of it, so we'll throw that in there. That'll be a quick tip. And I also made some test cuts on the Monarch after I got the flood coolant hooked up. It was just killing me not to get over there and make a chip and have that flood coolant running on the insert. So I went over there and filmed a couple clips of that, and we'll share that, a little bit of chip control, just something fun. And I've also got a job right there in that white box, and that is an intake manifold job that I did. I did that last weekend. Actually, I worked on it Saturday and Sunday, trying to get it done. I finally finished it, so I got a bunch of clips of that. I'll share with you what we had to do to the intake. That'll be this week's machining, metalworking content. And then the last thing that I want to touch on is these the newest videos that I posted on the Vikes pedestal build. Everybody seems to be enjoying that, and I do have one more video to show you. We'll probably post that probably Tuesday. And so I'm having tons of questions about flux core now. Why you're using flux core, why you're using gas, that kind of things. So I'm thinking that we'll make another video just talking about that subject, okay? There's a lot to go into, and I'm not an expert on everything. I can tell you what I know and what I've been taught. So let's just wait on that and go into that on another video, and we'll try to give a little bit more detail of the flux core welding and using gas and that kind of stuff. And then also a lot of the guys had mentioned that yes, they would like to see something on using the OxyFuel cutting torch. So we'll get something in the works for that also. Get all my cutting rig pulled out, maybe find some different thickness steel, and we'll just go to town, start playing with the torch, making some cuts, and we'll talk about it. So maybe that'll be something in the future there. Some good ideas for more content. All right, guys, well, that's about it. So let's go ahead and get on with it. We'll start with some flea market finds and then move on to some other stuff. Hope you guys enjoy, and thank you everybody for your continued support. I really appreciate it. Good morning, fellas and gals. Today is a beautiful Sunday here in Florida. It's a nice, cool 63 degrees outside. I'm loving it, man. Feels great. Good day to go to the flea market. Got a clear blue sky, nice and cool out. So I rode down the street there to the flea market and wanted to look around and see if I could find something. And today I actually made a donation to the cause. Walked out of there with a few things that I'm happy about. I only go down there really for the tools and to eat some breakfast. Today I didn't even eat breakfast, but there was a few guys out there that had some nice tools. Some things you could go down there and just load up on if you're looking, man. If you're looking for wrenches and sockets, claw hammers, and cheap import stuff, you can go down there and load up. But we're looking for the older quality, USA made quality, or just good quality tools, the older stuff. That's what we like. So I found a few things. A couple of them are really interesting. I'll start with this one here. This really caught my eye. I seen that sitting on this guy's bench. I'm like, man, that looks like a little tiny arbor press. So I went up to it, picked it up, started looking at it. And it says Oregon chipper chain breaker, number 541, patent pending. So I don't know anything about this. I've never seen one before. I'm assuming that it is a chain breaker. This part right here, that comes out. So I'm assuming that you use it to press pins out of chain. What kind of chain, I'm not sure. It says chipper chain breaker. So this, I'm assuming this is for chainsaws. Maybe you can use this to make up your own length of your chains for your chainsaw. I'm not sure if you can use it for, you might be able to use it for some kind of bicycle chain. It might fit down in this little piece here. Let's see. Okay, first time I took that off. So that fits down on here. I can get it back on there now. Okay, and that piece goes there. And it's got the 4 holes so that you can mount it to a table. I was also thinking, you could set it in your arbor press too and press on it there. I can tell that the top is mushroomed a little bit, so I'm sure guys are using their hammers to use it. So I'm curious to know how old this tool is, if it is kind of vintage. Use Oregon solid temper saw bars. So I thought that was pretty neat, and I actually thought about our friend Don Cossett up there in Oregon, wondering if he's got something like this or if he's ever used one. So anyway, I picked that up, and I got a few more things from the same seller. He had a few good oldies there. So I was digging through one of the little boxes, and I found this tap wrench here, and it's got some age to it. You can tell it's been well used. This one is I know it's a Threadwell Greenfield number 35 USA. So we got the little tap wrench. Now it does have there's a little bruise on it right there, a little part's missing out of it. So somebody, I don't know what happened there, but it still works though. Needs a little bit of lube. It's a little bit tight. So good tap wrench. And he also had a bunch of old wrenches, man. I mean, he had a little stack there, all old stuff. So I was looking through it. I've got plenty of wrenches, so I'm not really looking for any specifics, but I did pick out 3 of his wrenches that I thought were pretty unique. And I got these. This one right here I thought was really neat because this is a Proto, but it's also got Proto and Plumb Tool Company on it. This is a 3/4 end wrench here. So I know some of you guys remember more of the history of Proto and Plumb. I know that I believe it was Proto that bought out Plumb, something like that. They took it over. So this is another one. I'm curious as to how old this wrench might be to have both of their names on the same wrench. The O's are that upside down triangle in both of the Proto and Tool, or Plumb Tool. Okay, this one here, this is a neat little cute little wrench here. This one is made by Billings. It says Billings made in USA. You got 5/8 on one end and then 9/16 on the other. So that's a nice little stubby wrench right there, and they're very heavy built, man. Got big ends on it. I like that one, so I grabbed that. And then this one here, I've never heard of before, but it's called Herbrand, like H-E-R brand. Herbrand Van Chrome number 1228, made in USA. And it's a 7/8 end wrench, and the reason I liked it was because the end of it has a little more angle than what they usually see on a normal end wrench. So I just picked a few out of the stack to try to offer this guy a certain amount of money. So I offered him $20 for all this, and he took it. His asking prices for all this was a little more, but that's what I was trying to get to, was a $20 bill, and he accepted. And like I said, he did have some other cool wrenches down there too, but these were the 3 that kind of stood out for me. All right, so that was the first table there, or $20 stack right there. All right, there's another guy out there that's there every weekend, and I found that this is the first item. Now, this is just your normal vice grip, and nothing special about it. It does need some lube. It's a little dry. You can hear it squeaking, but I've only got 2 of these, and this one actually has the spring on it. Mine are missing the spring, like Tom Lipton always says, man. But so anyway, I got that. $6 for this. I thought that was a pretty good deal. These what do they go for? Probably 20 bucks maybe, I don't know. So I got that, and then I found one more thing. He had this table, just tools laid everywhere. All the guys are over there pilfering through everything, and I'm trying to like look really fast to see if there's anything cool laying there. And over on the side of the table on the other end, I seen this laying there. And I'm like, ooh, what's that, man? A little leather pouch. So I opened it up. What do we have? Got a really nice 18-inch rule. And so I looked at it. Miller's Falls, made in USA. And this thing was in excellent condition. It's been very lightly used. You don't have a bunch of scratches and gouges on it. The ones that we use every day, they eventually get kind of worn, but this one doesn't look like it's been used that much. So, and it comes with this really cool leather pouch, and I don't know if this, I assume that maybe somebody made this or they had a leather shop made it. I don't know. I don't know if Miller Falls supplied a leather pouch with their rules, but so anyway, this guy is kind of firm on his prices. He wouldn't really bargain too much. He knew what things were worth. He's a tool guy. So he wanted $6 for that. Offered him $5. He said no. Offered him, or I asked him how much he wanted for this, and I was expecting him to be a little high on it, but he said $6 for the rule. And he even told me, he says, yeah, that's a nice Miller's Falls machinist rule right there, man. I was like, yeah, no, I've got some Miller's Falls tools. So anyway, I gave him $12 for the vice grip and the 18-inch rule made by Miller's Falls. All right, and then the last guy I came to, he had some tools there, and I picked up these two Craftsman double end boxed in wrenches, and this one here is 1 1/16", 1 1/4". Still in good shape. Got a little bit of surface rust up in here just from, you know, it's just a little dirty. This one is 15/16" and a 1-inch. This was the one that struck my eye the first time when I walked by, and I asked him how much he wanted. He said $5. I thought that's not a bad buy right there. I don't have a boxing wrench this size, and these are useful sizes. And so I came back to him. I knew I was going to buy this. I asked him how much he wanted for the 1-inch and the 15/16". He said $4. I offered him $8, so I got both of these for $8. Now, one of the reasons why I really wanted this one is because of my 5/8 flange nuts that I use on the machines for your hold downs. 1 1/16". So this is going to be perfect to use whenever I use my 5/8 flange nuts here. So that's another reason why I picked this up, and to have the 1 1/4" boxing wrench there too. So that was my scores from today from the flea market. I haven't been in a while, and I was happy to walk out of there with some goods, and I had a good time. It's a nice morning. So I'm going to put these away and start piddling out here in the shop. Hope you guys had a good weekend, and we'll catch you later. Well, real quick, I thought maybe you want to see a little close-up of a couple of these. Here's that wrench that I was telling you, the Proto and the plumb tool there. All right, here's the Billings. You can see the Billings marked there on the end. All right, and here's that 7/8 Herbrand. Tap wrench. It looks like somebody's been hammering on that side right there, but still usable. Might be a good tool trade. Here's the rule. Now you might be getting a lot of glare to be able to see this. Let me try something. I'm gonna turn my clip light off there, and maybe you can see this a little bit better. I don't know, but you can see it through that reflection there. Miller's Falls. Okay, and then of course the box in. Now here's your close-up of the little chain breaker tool. Okay, there's your little close-ups. Alright guys, so here's a little quick tip for you. Today I was working on the horizontal bandsaw. It's a Kalamazoo. And then sometimes what you run into is you're trying to clamp a part in, and it's not long enough to support the full length of the jaw or go past the screw there, and it wants to try to kick around on you, and you can't hold it apart. So you can take one of your normal 1/2-13 studs, put a flange on each side, and you can adjust it so that it'll square up the vise, and you can clamp evenly across the workpiece there. And it always works good for me. So that's a piece of 6-inch ductile iron I was cutting. I had to make a piston today, and I thought of it, shot a little clip, thought I would share it with you. So use that trick there. I hope it helps you out, man. So last week you guys seen me finish up the coolant pump install on the Monarch. So here we are back on the Monarch again, and I wanted to go ahead and make a couple test cuts use the flood coolant. and let's see what it looks like, man. It's been a pretty good while since I've got to use flood coolant when turning. I mean, it's been so long. It's such a rare opportunity to get to use flood coolant when you're turning. So, you know, I just wanted to make some heavy chips and show you guys the benefits of using flood coolant when you have it equipped on the lathe. So I'm using another one of those inserts that Mike sent me, and this one actually is the 433 CNMG. It's got the larger nose radius on it, and it's the larger the radius, whenever you're taking the deeper cuts, it helps curl that chip over. So this was my first little test cut. Now this is a piece of 1045 chrome plated steel, just a scrap piece of rod that I had in my little roll around rack outside, and it was bent, so I chucked it up, indicated it. I recut the center, but you'll see that it's running out on this end. So let's take a couple little cuts dry, see what kind of chip we're running. I am using a 15 thousandths feed rate here. Yeah, let's get past that. Now that was touching off on the bent rod, dialed in a 1/4 inch on the cross slide right here. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the flood coolant. I'm going to take another 1/4 inch. Right. Now that is some fast turning right there. I mean, a fast feed. You're really moving some metal, and this is an example of what I deal with on the daily basis whenever I'm machining hydraulic rods. You have to do a lot of turning on one end sometimes, depending on the size of the rod. So, you know, you're taking big cuts, you're taking fast cuts, trying to remove the metal. Now I'm just playing around here, man. Let's slow the feed down actually a little bit. We're going to try this full depth here at a 10 thousandths feed rate. Okay, looking pretty good. Let's put a little flood coolant on it. Just helps keep everything cool, helps your tool. You just keep it right down there on that insert. So that's taking off approximately a 1/2 inch, 500 thousandths, a 1/4 inch per side. You see how much fun that is? Nice little test cut. So like I said, man, I just wanted to put the coolant to use, not building anything here. I'm just using a scrap piece and just making some test cuts. And in the future, as my work comes in, I've got different projects to do. When I'm doing some heavy turning or possibly even some threading, I'll be able to use this flood coolant system and help keep your parts cool, help keep your tools cool, you know, all the benefits of it. I'm gonna make one more cut. What I did is I swapped out the insert. This is the Sandvik that you seen me do that heavy facing with on the other S&S video. I've had a lot of good luck with this insert right here. I really enjoy the way it cuts. It does a good job. Don't have anything negative to say about it. So this is a CNMG 432, and I want to try it on these heavy cuts also and see how it performs. I know that if you dial in a 1/8 cut, it puts off a beautiful little curly Q chip. The heavier cuts I'm not so sure about yet, because I haven't used it for real heavy cutting so far. Let's make a couple just to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, I'm going to dial in 1/8 of an inch, 125 thousandths. That's an awesome little chip, and I really like that right there. So I'm going to back off and take another 1/8 of an inch, so that'll put us at a 1/4 inch. Alright. Okay, it's doing good. Bring it on down. That looks nice. Alright, not so good for that really heavy deep cut like that now. You see what it was doing. I don't know if I like that. So as far as a depth of cut 1/2 inch there, I've got some better performance on some other inserts that do the job. But for taking a 1/8 or 1/4 inch pass, man, that does an excellent job there.
Hey guys, I got some more bonus footage from work. This is a barrel for a big telescopic cylinder. What I had to do was set it up and machine the welds and remove the blind end, the butt plate on the end of it. It was badly worn, so we bought a new one to replace it with. And right here I'm using a TNMG 433 insert tool, and what I'm doing is I'm turning the diameter of that butt plate smaller so that it would actually fit over the cross slide. Had to make a couple cuts across there. It was right at the limit. That tool was doing a pretty good job. It was making a nice chip. There's the spot that I had machined to the steady rest, and right here is I'm actually machining the weld off. Make a few passes, and that takes quite a while. You got to get in there and kind of gouge into it a little bit to cut it loose. So here's some still shots. That was just a picture of like the full width of that tool making a cut. There it is, finally all machined out of there, getting ready to bump it loose. And you can see the dark spot there. That's where it was slipped up on the tube, and got it bumped loose, getting ready to pull it off of there. And here it is off of the tube. Use the crane to hold it. That's what the end of the tube looks like from the factory. They turn it and slide it on and weld it. There's the new end, Getting ready to fit it, weld it on. That's just what it looks like right there. And that's fitted on there and getting ready to weld it up. And this last shot is the weld. I made 5 passes using a flux core, weld that thing on there. Hey guys, got another project that I've been working on, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to put this on camera. I've just been working on a little bit here and there. Decided to go ahead and show you what I was doing. It is pretty interesting, but it's an intake manifold for a Mopar engine, and I believe this is some kind of race intake manifold. Not really sure of the engine. I know it's not for a Magnum or a Hemi or anything like that. It's something different, but I know they're going to be using it for racing. So anyway, they've got these fuel rails on here, that holds the injectors here, and you can see in the middle there's one bracket that's got this held on to the intake, and at the customer's request, for whatever reason, I don't know, he wants it attached at 3 points. He doesn't want just the center of it here holding it. He wants it attached on both ends of it. And now they didn't really tell me how they wanted that to be done. They just wanted me to do it. So I've been sitting on this for a couple weeks and trying to figure out a way to get it done without spending a bunch of time and making some kind of fancy geometry, and just I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it. I want to get it done. So I've been studying it, and what I'd come up with, I've got some 1/4x aluminum flat bar, and I cut some pieces up, and what I figured out is on the intake between the injectors here, you have a lot of thick metal. There's also a rib in here, so there's plenty of aluminum right in here. If you come over to other places along the intake runners, that's real thin area there for drilling and tapping a hole to bolt something in. So you got to be really careful about where you're going to attach something like that. So I figured right in between these injectors here, there's a nice little flat boss. So what I decided to do was cut these pieces of aluminum, and I didn't mill them before. I've got them milled now, and it's going to lay in there like that. This side's going to be drilled, and I'm going to drill and tap the housing here at the intake. It'll be bolted there, but this end here will be welded onto the fuel rail, and there'll be one on each side like this, just like so. And I had actually ended up milling those because it was really close to these injectors, and I don't know the connectors of how big they are that go on there. So I milled them down a little bit to give it a little space. But another thing that they can do is you can move these injectors a little bit if you need to. So I think that these mounted like this on each side will hopefully do the trick, and you'll have 3 points of mounting on here like the customer wants. So I've got these milled, and there's a closer shot of it. Like I said, it's 1/2 inch, so I just set it over in the vise, and I use this cool little carbide 3/8 4-flute end mill. It's got a nice radius ground on it from the factory, and I just come into it like this. Just made a couple passes and then one across to sweep the end of it there, and that's it there. So next step is I've got to drill a hole in all these, and then I've got to set it up and get it clamped, line up the where I need the hole here, and I'll punch it, drill and tap the housing, get it bolted on and get it clamped, try to get it clamped in place. And then once I do, I'll see about taking this off and then welding the little brackets on. So hopefully it'll work out good, and I'll show you along the way how it goes. How's that?
It was great.
Got an audience.
Yay, I loved it.
I'm continuing to work on this intake manifold job here, and I'm just getting the first side mocked up, getting ready to transfer punch the 2 holes that I drilled. You know, drilled a hole in all 4 of these little pieces that I made, and I drilled it 3/16 for now, just so that I can use a 3/16 transfer punch. And then after I'm through with them, I'm probably going to run a drill in there just to kind of open them up, because 3/16 is really close to a number 10 screw, which is what I'm using here. I've got some little tiny stainless steel cap head screws, 1024, that I'm using. So I'm just doing this by sight. I've got them lined up in between the injectors on both sides there, and as I said, I'm hoping that, you know, the user in the end here, the owner, if he needs, he can turn these injectors a little bit like so, if he needs a little bit more room to, you know, stick his clamp on there. But I think we're about ready. I want to do one set at a time and make sure all this is going to work out. Just using my little Armstrong C-clamps there. Alright, 3/16 transfer punch. I'm just trying to do this kind of delicate here. Wait, that's the wrong one there. Okay, there it is. One hit, that's all you need. Okay, I can see them in there. And you can go back with another fine center punch and kind of open those divots up a little bit better. Alright, and then another thing I'm going to do before I take this off, I want to go ahead and scribe a line around the back end here on the fuel rail, so that I have a reference point to line it back up to. Okay. Just make some scratches here that I can visually see. And no, you don't want any blue or Dykem or anything like that on here, because we're going to be welding this. Alright, so there's a little better angle of it, I think. So we'll drill and tap here, and then once we get them drilled and tapped, then I'll actually put the bolts in there, hold it, and then put the C-clamps back on there, and then unbolt everything and weld those 2 on. Okay, I think I'm ready to start drilling and tapping. Just doing a little bench work this time. I've got the intake clamped down to the edge of my table here. On this side here, I used some brass shim stock so it wouldn't mar up that machine surface for the filler net, or the water intake there. And I went ahead and repunched them lightly. So I went through the little bag of taps that James Green sent me, and I found a couple taps. These appear to be brand new, never used. So we got a couple 1024 taps here. Make sure here. 1024. Oh, I'm sorry, that one's a 1032. I'm glad I didn't double check there. Okay, this is 1024. All right, get it done. think that's going to be, it's probably going to be plenty of length there. We'll go just a little more. Okay. Deburr. I'll be right back. Let me get something to put a little chamfer on that hole. All right, got two little tools here I can use. Either one. Let's try that one there. Oh yeah, that works good. Okay. What you want? There's Stella. You want to say hello? Come here. Everybody's just watching me work. It's a nice day out. She's just moseying around. I know. She loves to be petted. All right, I got to get to work. You gonna let me get back to work? No, not really. All right, come on. That's how you get her off of you. Okay. I might have grabbed too big of a tap wrench right there. Let's see this one. I think we'll just use this. Put a little slickum on it. When I'm hand tapping like this, I always like to use this style of straight tap wrench more than the T-handle style. Just always been my favorite feel. Get more leverage on it. I'm just trying to eyeball straight, you know, and that way too. You can be off just a touch, and you know it's not going to kill you, but try to keep it straight. And typically the tap will try to follow the hole that you drilled anyway. So once you know it's starting in there, then you can pretty much go just like that. Careful not to put too much pressure on one side or the other. That's why I like these tap wrenches like this. Okay. So that one's done. All right. Love those little needle tips, man. All right. That's pretty good. All right, I think that is going to suffice. Look at that. There we go. Okay. We're going to have a little bit of a alignment issue right there, but I think it'll still work though. It'll pull it in there. Alright, just one more to do here. All right, man, that one lines up pretty good, actually. You know, the way these rails are mounted on there, they're twisted this way, they're a little high, low, they're not perfect there, so that'll work. I'll put my clamps back on it, and when I weld it, we'll try to run a weld bead all the way around that side, and then flip it over and get that bottom fillet on the opposite side there. Okay, so that's going to be our next step. So I'm going to get these snugged up, put the clamps back on, and then try to pull it off. Alright, we got them both clamped back in place. Go ahead and get it unbolted and see if I can slide it off and hope that they don't move. I'm going to have to open those holes up after I get through with this. Damn it. I think I moved it. Dang it. I guess I need to just go ahead and pull these things out. I know this one moved over here. Just trying to line it up. Guess I better go ahead and run it back in there. That's just what I'm saying, man. These kind of jobs can be they can be very time consuming. And as long as you have someone that's willing to pay the labor that it takes somebody to do this kind of stuff, no big deal. But it's been my experience that a lot of people don't when it comes to go fast stuff. Trying to decide if I ought to just try to weld it. Maybe go ahead and try to get a weld on top side there where it's bolted in so that I know it won't move when I pull it off there. That's my only fear. I wanted to have it up here off of this and a little bit better. I like using my vise when I can. But we know it lined up there, so with the injectors in there, everything should push in. It's just O-rings. It's just these big O-rings that seal off these injectors here, and these have a little movement inside the holes. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and at least try to get a weld on the top of these so that I know that it's held in place. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright guys, I gotta apologize to you. I didn't show you any of the welding for a couple of reasons. One, I was getting a little aggravated at how the job was going. It wasn't welding the way I wanted it to. And what I was experiencing was this fuel rail here is actually a lot thicker than I thought it was. And I didn't pay attention to that when I started welding. But this whole bottom side of this thing is solid. And I thought this was I mean, it looks like an extrusion. I'm sure that's what it is, but this is all solid right here. So, you know, it was wanting to flow into the part that I was building really, really fast, but it wasn't wanting to flow into the base there. So I kept trying to get it to run, and I couldn't get it hot enough. So I ended up having to grab my torch and warm it, get it nice and hot, and then go in there and weld it. And even then, it just didn't, the welds didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to, but it's done, and it'll work. So the 3 points of contact did make it more rigid. You know, I'm pulling really hard on it right there, and if you look back here on this other one, you can see how it moves, just pulling one in there. So it's rigid, it's more rigid now, and that's what they wanted. Okay, so I'm just ready to get this thing done. I've been spending way more time on it than what it's worth. So I got to do the other side now. I'm going to go and get it done, but it's just the same thing as this side here. So I think that's going to be about the end of this one, man. I'm ready to move on. You just thought you seen the end of this job. This thing just keeps haunting me, man. Mr. Bozo came by when I was working on this side. Went to drill the 2 holes and didn't pay attention to what I was doing, and I grabbed the wrong drill on the table. Drilled the hole too big for the tap. So I don't want to use any other screw. You know, you could go to a 1/4-20, but I don't have any stainless 1/4-20 bolts the same as the other side. I want to keep it the same. So got this helicoil kit for 1024, so I'm using that. Luckily it was the same size drill for the drill that I used, so I'm just now tapping the hole for the helicoil. I'm telling you, man, I don't know what it is about this one right here. Everybody always has one that haunts them every now and then, and I think this one's been my one. I haven't had it in a while. So 2 sides of this is going to have a helicoil, which in my opinion is not a bad thing. Whenever you got threaded holes in aluminum, a helicoil is actually a strong repair. So let me get this other one tapped. I guess I'll show you me installing a helicoil. Alright, I got both sides of it tapped there. There's my 1024 coils. Screw it onto the little installation tool here. Keep some pressure on it whenever you're twisting it in. Make sure that last one is just inside the surface, like that. Alright, now all you do is just go in there with a little punch and punch the tang off the back end there. I don't know if you can see it or not. So on the bottom you got a little tang. That's what drives it with this tool here when you go to install it there. Luckily I had drilled it the right size for a helicoil, and I actually had this kit here. I've got a bunch of them, different sizes. They are handy to have around. Okay. Let me go grab the bolts and make sure they fit. I think I forgot to tell you another reason why I didn't want to use any of the footage during the welding. I was having problems. I was saying some choice words at myself, and I had a guy cutting my grass, and he was right here by my door cutting and edging and everything. It was just too much noise going on. Okay. Alright, that's it. I just got to knock the tang off the bottom. So, alright, I'm going to continue on, try to get this thing done. Alright guys, it's done. There it is, finished up. Just wanted to give you a final shot of the job. This is the other side that you didn't see me do. So we got it, and then there's the first side right there. And I hope that the customers are happy with this. As I said in the beginning, I wasn't told specifically how to mount this on each end. It's just what they wanted. And it's things like this that get brought to me, and it gets brought to me because who else is going to do this kind of stuff? That's just it. You know, it's a kind of a special job. You know, you can't go to a welding shop because most welding shops aren't going to make the parts like that. They're just going to weld. And then some machine shops aren't going to take jobs like this because they just want to make parts. They don't want to figure it out, weld it together, things like that. So that's why guys come and see me. But I will say that I am happy that this is finally done, and I'm ready to get it and put it back in this box. And have them come and get it because I'm ready to get it out of here. So anyways, hope you enjoyed as always, and we'll see you on the next job.